Hello everyone, my name is Corazar, and welcome back at long last to the Vintage Story Guide. As you can see, we are back in the world, and we are actually now in 1.18.8, and there have been, as you may well know, some other changes. It's been a while since I last was able to record, and I am doing so on a new computer now, after my last one had a graphics card that decided to up and die. So, I ended up buying a new computer, and I am now no longer using an AMD graphics card. We are now using an NVIDIA card. I don't know yet if that's going to be better or worse for recording. I have been doing some extensive testing, and during that testing I have been busy at work here, kind of putting the game and the card through their paces and doing different recordings while I was working on some iron work. So as you can see, I have put together some extra hammers, and we have 6 extra iron ingots. I have a few more tools in here, an iron axe. I think we already had the iron pickaxe, an iron shovel, and I think that's pretty close to everything. Except for some iron arrowheads. Some of them are still hot, apparently. Oop. Right, I can't even pick them up. That's fine. So yeah, we will just break this and chuck these into here. There we go. So yes, I have been testing recordings and testing how things work. And something you might notice is that if things are a little blurrier, I don't think they should be. I think it's rendering okay. It's that this screen is no longer a 1080p screen. It is a 2560 by 1440 or 1440p screen. So it's got a lot more pixels on it, and I am probably going to be downscaling this for recording, but I'm not quite sure yet how I'm going to handle that. So we're going to explore that together, and I guess we'll see where we go. But yes, we now have upgraded to iron arrows that deal 2 extra damage per hit and have a 5% lower break chance per hit. We will keep the copper arrows around for the meantime as backup in case, but we also have 8 more arrowheads and 6 more ingots to make iron arrowheads, so not a problem. Boy, it is a little bit weird to be back because this computer feels a bit alien. There are some concessions I've had to make in regard to some weird hardware things, like keyboards that don't let me walk forward and left and jump at the same time. I have found a way around that, but it's weird. My old keyboard layout doesn't work anymore. I had to completely switch up how I do things. So I'm going to be getting used to the controls again and things, so I might stumble a bit. I might press even more wrong buttons than usual, but we'll get through it together. Now, today was supposed to be the day that we go and start working on our bedroom at our house. However, because of all of the time I missed due to having the computer down, I wasn't able to go and do the gathering that I needed to in order to get that going. Because I have some materials in mind that I want to use, and that's mainly going to be limestone, andesite, and the greenstone. Because I think we could do something fun in here with a combination of those. And I'm also thinking some clay stone would be nice. But because we now have iron, and specifically an iron pickaxe, there are some other materials we can go and get and play with. And while we're there, some additional construction materials we can go and play with and see how they look. Namely, that is that we now have access and the ability to mine out meteorites. And meteorites are, of course, those depressions we found in the ground where I sort of dig them out and make comments about them, but we don't do anything with them because we haven't been able to until now. And I think there's a black bear roaming around here somewhere. Well, I guess we'll find out, won't we? There was one. Oh, that would be the black bear, wouldn't it? Yes, yes it would. Ooh, wow. Well, I think we need to address the bear in the room. Really, bear? Uh-huh. Yep, very cute. Very cute. Ah, come on. Gotcha. Oh. No jukes, please. No jukes allowed here. Sorry, buddy. Okay. Bear down. Pillar down. Arrows get. Ooh. Hole do not fall in. Oh, what did I just say, Corzar? Like I said, controls are a bit unfamiliar now. Yes, we're going to go and we're going to mine out a couple of these meteorites. And we're going to bring back a couple things from them. One is that we're going to get some very fun treasure from them that we can turn into very useful materials for crafting new items. Of interest here is, as you saw in the last episode, there's a lot of work involved in turning iron blooms into iron ingots, or rather turning iron ore into iron blooms and then into iron ingots. I believe right here is where we have... So I thought we did. We're standing in the depression where I have marked this off. Let's find out. Ah, okay, I must have covered you back up. Okay. But yes, you saw the sort of rigmarole that's involved in getting iron, usable iron, out of iron ore and the long process. Now, once you have iron, you have the ability to mine this meteoric iron. And meteoric iron is a different resource. It doesn't turn into regular iron when you smelt it. No, it becomes meteoric iron ingots. And these require, surprisingly, a lot less effort to turn into what you want to make it into. It does require some specialized tools, for instance, the iron pickaxe to mine it in the first place, as well as a special anvil in order to work it. But if you can get your hands on a lot of meteoric iron, it can sort of be more efficient in the long run. Rather than processing blooms for ages and ages, just throw some of these in a bloomery, and you'll get ingots straight from the bloomery. No bloom processing, no reheating 10 times, just straight iron ingots that you can process and hammer away on whatever anvil you choose. Well, not quite whatever anvil, you'll see. So I think we're probably about at the end of this one here, although there is some more of this swavite stone. No, I think we're about at the end here. Yep, that's about it for this one. So as you'll see, we got iron meteorite pieces. 2 of these will smelt into 1 meteoric iron ingot, which means we are holding already 11 ingots worth of iron meteorite pieces in our hand. So as long as you can find enough of these lying around, and you will if you venture enough, then you can certainly get quite a lot of iron rather quickly. Now, that isn't the only thing I'm interested in here, though, because you'll see there's also this sort of very mottled, sparkly, speckly stone. This is called swavite. And sometimes when you see or find a meteorite, you actually see swavite stones and even meteorite pieces on the ground, as if they were pieces of ore and stone. Now, even if you don't, you'll still find swavite sort of underneath and around the meteoric iron pieces, the blocks, and this will mine out just like any other stone. But when you polish it and you turn it into cobblestone, I find it has an interesting texture and color that kind of goes really well with things like granite cobblestone, and sort of gives a bit of interest to whatever you're building. I'll go ahead and actually just sort of block ourselves in case we get any visitors of the drifty kind. Go ahead and just drop, I don't know, you right there. There we go. Also, while we're mining this out, swavite can occasionally contain diamonds. Now, we've gotten some diamonds from panning, and I think just from panning so far, but you can also get diamonds from the swavite. Now, you won't be able to see the diamond in the rock. It won't say swavite with diamond or anything, but occasionally it will drop a diamond. And unlike panning, you can get greater than low quality diamonds out of it. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time here mining this out. I'm going to do some regular mining and some quarrying as well, because I want to get some of the blocks of the stone so that we can then polish them as well. Now you can't turn Sueva into bricks or into dry stone, but the polished block, the cobblestone, and the regular block are all useful in builds. Oh, there we go. We got our first diamond. Now this is a low potential gem, unfortunately, but it is possible to get medium and high potential gems, which you can sell to artisans and to luxuries goods traders on occasion. Well, I'm going to get to it for now at this one, and then we're going to go up to the area to the north where we found one right here and a whopping 4 all clustered together here. And I'm going to go mine all of these out, and we will demonstrate how to use this meteoric iron. I may or may not stop through our translocators down here. We have one more meteorite here and one right here. Both of them are really close to the translocator, so I might just pop out and grab that and bring it home and see just how much we have. And then after that, I want to go and probably take some of our bronze pickaxes to wear them out and take them out to, let's see, we're going to go to the limestone, which is out here. We're going to go down to the andesite and the greenstone down here. And I also want to see if we can get some peridotite sand. There's a bunch of gravel here, but I'm not interested in gravel. I want sand. So I'm going to take a stroll around here. Like this right here might be sand. Not a ton of it, mind you. But yes, I want to get some of that. And then down here, at our little hovel in the rock, which was right here, we have claystone. I want to get some of that too. Anyway, I'll see all of you on the other side of this meteorite, and we'll head home and we'll start the process of some smelting, and then we'll go and get those other meteoric iron pieces. Alright, folks, we are home safe and sound. I didn't quite get to finish clearing out that entire meteorite, but I was out of storage space, and I wanted to keep some of these sandstone stones. And we're going to see if our, what's it called, Crateful mod is going to keep working. If I can figure out what keys to press. There we go. I'm not sure that we're actually depositing stones here. I'm not sure I can deposit stones. Now, if I crouch, I can still place a stone, right? In 1.18.8? Let's find out. So I crouch, place a... No. I cannot place a stone. Interesting. You know what? I think I had this issue earlier where you might experience this too, where I have to rebind the sneak key to get things to work sometimes. No? Okay. Well, I guess we are just going to hold on to all of our stones forever. Can I at least pick up and place down these? No. See, there we go. So I'm crouching and right-clicking, and I'm still picking up these ingots. And I do think that I had to rebind that. I'm not sure why it's not taking it again. Let's just do that for now. And if I then crouch and right-click, still not going. Interesting. In some ways. For some meanings of the word interesting. Let's toggle that off and on. Did that do it? There we go. Okay. So yes, that does seem to happen sometimes. And I forgot what my solution for it was. There's a pretty decent chance I may downgrade back to 1.18.7 for a bit, just because 0.8 doesn't quite seem ready for prime time yet. Hey, there we go. Crateful does work in this version. Excellent. I'm going to put away our Suevite stone, probably over in our other house, get some rest, and then we're going to go back out and dig up some more of this iron. I think rest is going to happen first. Alright, good morning folks. We are headed out I have a fresh pack on my back. Our basket is there. I think I've lost my previous basket, actually. So, I forgot that button did that. The zoom still works, apparently. That's great. And we're going to head up the mountain here first to the first meteorite up here. And then we're going to go hit the other 4 and bring them on back home. I was going to stop at home and process the first one, but we ended up with only 11 ingots worth, and I figured we might as well go ahead and just do a bunch of them all at once. While we are on the way, though, I did just want to extend my heartfelt thanks to all of you for the, once again, gobsmacking outpouring of support for the channel in our downtime here. And I really appreciate everyone's patience with me and my technical issues I've been having. And I'm so glad you're all looking forward to these episodes, because they're a lot of fun for me to produce and share with all of you. And it's something I just look forward to basically every day. So once again, thanks to all of you for your support and your patience. And I'm just really glad to be back in the saddle, chasing foxes, mining stones and ores, and being just generally silly. Hello, Rift. So here's our second victim. What do we have here? We have a computer that is very, very unhappy with how hot it's getting. Here we go. We have more than just a couple. Sometimes you will end up with meteorites that only have as few as 1. I've actually gotten one before that was just swavite, and I know it wasn't one that had been cleared up by someone else because it was in single player. This was back a long time ago, though, in like 1.13, so I don't know if that's still possible or if that's been fixed. But let's go ahead and get this one. Very, very nice. Very nice. Oh, there's more. Wow, look at that. You make sure you dig away all these little surface bits here to make sure that you are getting all of the iron. It will generally be all clumped together, like you're not going to find any over here generally, but just to be sure, make sure you do dig out a little bit. Kind of like you're digging out the last of any other ore vein. But the metal will always be at the top. There we go. Let's go and check out the next one on our list. Alright, here we are, folks. I do hear the distant growl of a bear. Just barely. So we need to be on our lookout here. But we have right here what we're looking for, which is a hot meal. Actually, a very cold meal. It's been sitting on my shelf in the middle of winter. But whatever. Okay, cold meal out of the way. And it's iron time. Hopefully that bear doesn't come after us while we're down here. Actually, to mitigate that, I'm going to pop down here and just do that. So this is the first of 4, I think, that are right up in this whole little area here. Yep, 4 right here. That is an incredible find, really. And since we're here and I haven't really taken much of a survey with the prospecting pick yet, I am going to mine out a little bit of this and just sort of look for any more pieces, but I think this is a bit of a small one, unfortunately. So like I said, you can get these small little ones here. And then we're going to go ahead and use the density search mode to see what all's in this area, if anything. Okay, so sphalerite, copper, and tiny bits of tin and cinnabar. Not much going on here. That's fine, though. Let's try to get a bit north of this baratory. And we're going to do that by chasing some chickens ahead of us, I think. Being amongst the trees makes me nervous in 1.18 in ways that it did not at all, or as much, in earlier versions. And here we go. Here is another one. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these 3 dug out, and then I'll meet all of you back at home when we are ready to process these and then get started on our resource gathering. Okay, so I lied. Here we have an example from a long time ago, and I'm sure I pointed this out back then, but here's an example of a meteorite that actually has some pieces of meteorite sitting on the surface that are broken up from the impact. So you can pick them up either by smacking them or by right-clicking, and you'll get a couple of little pieces. And of course, right below the surface, we have our meteorite, as expected. Okay. With that demonstration over, now I will finish getting all of these meteorites and then meet you back at home.
1 hour later.
Alright folks, we are home. We have some soup on the fire. And I forgot to mention, as I was working on our iron crafting, I forgot that I made another rack, and I made the tools from the QP Tech Chisel Tools mod. Now, we're not going to be using these today, but I wanted to point them out. They are here, and they do require you to have at least iron. You can make them out of iron, I believe meteoric iron, and steel. But the minimum is, of course, iron. And they are made just like everything else with iron making. You just take the ingot on the anvil and follow the recipe. So I didn't really see a need to hammer these out with you again. But we're going to go ahead and we are going to gather up a whole bunch of these, if I can press the right buttons. Once again, it's going to be a theme, isn't it? We have some more of these guys. All these are about done. Nice. And we're going to make, let's see, we can fit 12 of these into a single bloomery. So let's see how many we can, or how many we need. So 13 bloomeries, okay. I think we have room for that. And then just like with the iron, you're going to lit them up with your meteoric iron pieces. But it doesn't take nearly as long, which is perfect. And apparently you can place these back on the ground. Did not realize that. And apparently you have to in order to get them into the bloomery. Methinks that's a bug. And then once again we need to heat them up with something hotter than brown coal. We have some charcoal we made at the end of last episode, or 2 episodes ago. That should be fine. And of course, now we heat them up. Alright. That was pretty easy. At this point, all we have to do is wait. I'm going to put some things away, rack out, and I'll see all of you in the morning. Oh, but I lied yet again. I fooled you all. Back to my old shenaniganry. I have here, and I forgot that I had this, the results of panning all that bony soil we found when we went on our long dimensional journey a few episodes ago. And all the results are in here. Check it out. We got some pretty decent stuff. So we got emeralds and books and rusty gears and some silver, plenty of bones and flax fibers, of course. More copper spirits than we can shake a stick at. Some diamond, some peridot, copper arrowheads, and a cute little silver chain, which we could wear, I think, somewhere. On our wrist, but I like our... Of course you can see it there, actually. Interesting. You know, I might wear that instead of a bronze bracelet, because you can actually see it sticking out of our sleeve. Okay, cool. Not bad. Oh, and of course, a candle. Can't forget that. Now, we do have these 2 books here we have not read yet. We have Reflection, Part 4 of 5. Let's go take a look at that. I'm learning to bring these up as soon as I add them. So I think, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be this one. So it's this page. Go ahead and read it. And then this page. You can pause it if you like. And then we also have Dimitри's Notes, Part 2 of 5. Go ahead and read them right here. And I'm still looking for at least one last one from one of these, at least, to have a bit of a sit down and read episode with all of you. Okay, now we sleep. Alright, good morning, folks. Let's go and check on our bloomeries. Yes, they are done. Excellent. I'm going to break my superstition and just break the bottoms. As you can see, these are actually still hot. Unfortunately, we can't work them right now because we don't have the right kind of anvil. We are going to need, as I said, at minimum, an iron anvil. And as I mentioned, since we can't cast iron, we're going to have to make it on an anvil. It's like anvilception. Now, we don't quite have enough ingots here, so I'm going to take a few more blooms and process them, and then we'll get started on our very first, and hopefully one of only 2 ever iron anvils. I don't like making iron anvils, and you will see why in a few moments, but they're just not fun to make. I mean, it's enjoyable the first time to get to know the system, but making more than one is, yes. If you like pain, well, these are for you. But check this out. Look at all this meteoric iron. Now, in the first season of the guide series, we had, at least at Lupine Ridge, I think we had at least 50% more than what we have here. And I'm pretty sure that down at the Silver Mountains, we had about the same amount. So that means that we ended up with a lot of iron that we just never really used. And I kind of feel a bit silly for having such a stockpile that we never went through. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to focus on using, well, at least some of this. I'm not sure what we'll use it for entirely. It might be cool to make some armor out of it, because it's very attractive armor. But I think we'll also use it for making a lot of tools, and they're actually a little bit better than iron tools. If we look in the handbook here, so we have the iron pickaxe that has 1000 durability and 7.5 stone and ore mining speed. The meteoric iron pickaxe is 1300 durability and 8x mining speed for those two. So these are, as you can see, about 30% better, and that kind of holds true for most things you can make out of it. So if we were to make, say, plate armor, if we look at the plate body armor, just 2200 durability, 1.7 flat reduction, 96% percentage reduction, and you will see that we have here 2800, 1.72, and still 96. So mostly you get the durability increase. This extra 0.02 hit points probably doesn't mean a whole lot, but it is very, very shiny and nice to look at. Now, as I said, and I find this kind of weird, you can't actually process meteoric iron on a bronze anvil. And it's kind of weird to me because meteoric iron is still a tier 3 material. So if we look at, again, say the pickaxe, it's tool tier 4, but so is iron, regular iron. And so it does kind of break the pattern of being able to process 1 tier's worth of materials higher than your anvil. So you'll see here once we get this to about 850, I'll pick it up and you'll see we really can't do much with it. So here we go. So working this metal needs a tier 3 anvil. So that does make this a kind of a bit of an outlier in the anvil and metal tier system. But as far as I'm aware, it is the only outlier, the only anomaly. But yes, I'm going to go ahead and work on some iron blooms, and we're going to need about 11. I think technically 11 is the minimum, but there are some quirks for making iron anvils that you want to know and be aware of to avoid the pitfalls associated with them. Okay, there we go. We have, let's see, we have 14 ingots that will be, 12. I can do 6 and 6. Yes, that's right. 12, that's what I said the first time. We have 12 ingots. That is at least one extra than we need for actually making this anvil. Now, the anvil itself is a multi-step process. And we're going to need to go and get some of another material we haven't really touched on in a while. But we'll go ahead and make the two halves first, and then we'll go and get what we need. And that material is borax, by the way. You shouldn't start working on an iron anvil until you have found some borax. And borax is, of course, found in sedimentary rock. So look in your sandstone, in your chert, in your limestone, in your chalk. I think even in your shale. I don't think slate so much. I think shale has it. And you don't need much. You really only need basically half of a single piece of borax, so it doesn't take a whole lot. Now we're going to take 2 of these, and we're going to start making the anvil base, like so. And we're going to grab probably another 1. Now there's a quirk with the anvil you'll find while you're working on these. And there's a reason why the anvil is made in 2 halves. Namely, it is that the anvil doesn't support putting more than 6 voxels high worth of ingots on. So you can work on multiple ingots and more ingots around, but you cannot go more than 6 voxel bits high. So make absolutely sure that you do not do that, because what will happen is you will end up losing the material, the extra material that would be up on rows 7 and higher, just gets vaporized. And that's not fun, so don't do it, yeah? We are going to smash this down flat, as flat as we can. And we're going to sort of make a little plate out of this almost. But we're just going to smash it down so that we end up not wasting any of the other ingots we're going to put on. This is going to take, I believe, this base is going to take 5 ingots, maybe 6. And the top takes 5. I don't know. We'll find out. And it can be kind of hard to see, so you are going to definitely want to sit down sometimes and take a look at what you're working on from up close and on the side especially. Let's go ahead and get all this mashed down. Now we are actually safe at this point to put our other ingot on. Let's go ahead and do that. There we go. Yeah, we're going to need at least 1 more ingot. Let's go ahead and get that going here. And unlike most other smithing, I do like to keep this pretty hot. It's just kind of easier to see what I'm working on when I have the sort of glowing orange and yellow and then the deep black purple lines. So that's personal preference. You don't have to work it so hot, but I do tend to. Let's go ahead and start pulling some of these down here in, I guess, this direction. And then some probably in this direction. And then some down here, too. And then we'll start pulling some of these down and around. That's not the way I wanted to go. I said down. And there goes our hammer. How are we doing here? We're getting pretty close. We're going to bring this guy down that way. And then we should be able to put the entirety of you on there. Yes, there we go. And we can start pulling these down toward us. There we go. No more green lines. We can then very carefully start splitting these. There we go. We have an anvil base. We're going to tuck this in our totally not flammable chest full of definitely not flammable objects. And then we're going to load up 4 more. And I believe the anvil top is then going to take maybe another 5. I thought there were 11 involved, but it could be... It might be 5 ingots, but I swear I tend to use 11, and that might be because I often will not quite notice there's a voxel sticking up, and I'll drop one of these. But it's a pretty exact recipe, like it's exactly 5 ingots, so if you mess up at all, then you need that 6th one. Let's go ahead and start with 5 after I put some... There we go. Some coal in there, and let's get this going on. Okay, here we go. Pick our anvil top out of the menu. There you are. That's 2, and we'll get our 3rd ingot on. And we are maxed out, as you can see. So, we're going to go ahead and start smashing. Let's see. We need to bring some of these toward us. So, I'm going to just pull you this way. So we are 1, 2, 3, and 4 tall, which means we can go ahead and drop you on as well. And this works just the same way. We're going to pull all these blocks out as best we can and fill in all of the gaps, all of the green lines. I'm not quite sure what happened here, but I think I just found a bug where the wireframe just reversed its facing. Did you guys catch that? That's concerning. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do about that, unless this will fix it. Nope. Picking it up and dropping it in did not fix it. Okay. Well, that's fun. I'm going to not make all of you sit through me hammering out the rest of this thing. So I will just see all of you on the other side of me fixing this and dealing with this bug after I give it some more heat. Alright. See you all in a bit. I don't believe it, folks, but I think if I can get this little voxel up here, the voxel that could, then I can actually do this with 10 total ingots. Let's see if we can smush these around. Hey, look at that. Oh my goodness, that was pure pain. Okay. Well, we don't need that ingot, which gives us 2 iron ingots left. That's fine, I guess. Let's go ahead and get a bite to eat. I am going to sleep through this temporal storm because I am not up for tackling it right now. I want to go and get us some borax and put our iron anvil together so we can actually use it. So, I will see all of you after this temporal storm, and we are going to go and get some borax from underground. And luckily, from very early on in the series, we know right where to find it. See you soon. Alright, folks, we are back, and it is time for us to go and check out our borax. Now, if I recall correctly, we want to go in down here, and it was kind of right over here, wasn't it? It's been a while. But yes, this is where I spotted it for the very first time. Oops, clunk. Now I am going to go and light some of this up, just to keep whatever hooligans might sneak up on us at bay, however temporarily. Luckily this is mostly, like... Oh, hello, boys. It's been a while. I have some new toys to use on you. So still 4 hits. Oh, these are deeps. Okay. That's fine. 4 hits on a deep drifter? Yeah, why not? Hi, guys. And that is fine. So, here we have some borax in chert. And as I had mentioned before, if you are in the early game and you find a borax and all you have is copper, unfortunately you're out of luck. Unless you also happen to have purchased some blasting powder pre-made from a merchant. I believe the commodities merchants do sell that occasionally. And you could blast it out, but I wouldn't count on that. So yep, just bring your bronze pickaxe along and gather up your borax. And you're going to throw that borax straight into your quern. Hopefully your quern is powered by wind, but if not, you can do it yourself. And we have, wow, we have a stack and a half of borax. This will turn into powdered borax. Now, in addition to what we're going to be using it for today, powdered borax has another purpose, and that is you can actually throw it on the ground. You can put it into a barrel with water to make diluted borax. 5 liters of water and 2 powdered borax will make 5 diluted borax, and this can be used for the beginning parts of leather making, for when you're soaking your hides. On a unit scale, this is more efficient than limestone. Limestone requires 50 limestone for 50 liters of water, a full barrel, whereas this only requires 20 borax, or powdered borax, per full 50-liter barrel. So if you are swimming in borax in the early game, and you need to make some leather and you haven't found limestone, well, this is an option. But you do have to get to the Bronze Age first, or at least find or purchase a bronze pickaxe. So, Kurazar, we are here. We have a bit of powdered borax. We have our 2 halves of our anvil. What's next? Well, the first thing we have to do is we need to heat these suckers up. Well, first thing we have to do is we have to heat these suckers up, and that requires more coal. Let's go ahead and drop you in, and that's fine. That's plenty. You don't need to make these things glow yellow. Just as long as they are above working temperature, then you're fine. I'll just chuck one more in so we can just pull this out and drop the other half in. And again, we're going to wait for this to heat up. So there we go. And we're going to forget our tongs yet again. As part of the process, don't you worry. I meant to do that. And we're going to put this on the ground, and we're going to throw the anvil head in the forge. Now we're going to take 1 borax and right-click on it, and you'll see we get this sort of layer of borax. And that is all you need for a single anvil. You only need 1 powdered borax, which is 1/2 of 1 piece of borax. We are now done with this borax. In fact, we might never even need it again. Now your base, you might want to heat up until it's at least a bit of a yellowy orange rather than just red, because it is going to sit here and wait unless you have multiple forges. And that's certainly an option. And we could have done that, but space. Have you seen how little of it we have? But now we are hitting 900 degrees. We can go ahead and grab our top and right-click on there. And we're not done yet. You'll see we have 2 halves waiting for something. That something is a hammer. Whack it a few times. In this case, 11. I think it's a random number, but I'm not positive. And once it turns into a fully finished iron anvil, you'll know because it's not glowing anymore. And now we have our very first iron anvil. And I am also very hungry. Problem solved. And now, finally, we can get rid of this for now. We'll probably use that again later as we are expanding our setup and possibly moving in the future, perhaps next year. We will still make use of that bronze anvil, no worries about it. But now we can start working these meteoric iron ingots into tools, into plates, into all kinds of odds and ends. And I haven't quite decided what I want to do with them yet, except that I do want to make at least a couple pickaxes, because we're going to be mining a lot of stone for our house. And after having recorded most of this episode, I'm realizing that I think we're going to do the material gathering in the next episode. We'll probably do a little bit of a material gathering and exploration and cleanup of maybe some things that we may have not looked at in the places that we're going. So we'll do that, I think, next episode, and then after that we'll begin building our bedroom. And I think with the bedroom, we will also get a chance to use some of these tools, and I'm excited to get into them with you because I have played with them mostly in the Rusty Gears Season 2 series that I did. I didn't use these a whole lot in the original guide series. I wasn't as familiar with them. But I have gotten a feel for how they work, and boy, do they feel good. There are still some things we will use the workbench for. Never fear, that is not going away, because the workbench and these tools work a little bit differently in some ways, and that can make them weird. So now that we have our meteoric iron and we have our regular iron anvil, we can go ahead and start heating these guys up in here and make some tools out of them. And there is certainly a part of me that kind of wants to make a set of iron plate armor out of this, but I kind of feel like we're going to be doing a lot of smithing if we do that, because we are going to need at some point a set of steel plate armor, and we are going to be fixing up our Forlorn Hope armor once we get the full set. So we will have both iron and steel. I'm not sure we need, or that we will need, the intermediary set of meteoric iron. It might be neat to have, but I don't know. I'm undecided yet. We might just use this for fancy lanterns, or burn it all as tools. To get to about there, and now we are allowed to actually make things on the anvil out of meteoric iron, including, if we wanted to, a meteoric iron anvil. We are not doing that today. Nope, no siree. But I am going to make a few pickaxe heads, I think. Assuming I can find them. There we go. Let's get this going on. And lastly, we're going to make a saw blade, and that is for something a bit special. There we go. 3 meteoric iron pickaxes with 30% more durability than our iron one, and a meteoric iron saw with a ton of durability. Now, I don't generally recommend you make meteoric iron objects just for the durability. Like, I wouldn't make a meteoric iron hammer unless I was really low on iron or something. It's just generally not worth it for just the durability. I think that the extra speed and performance that you get out of that is much more worth it. However, the saw is a bit of a special case. I want to grab some of our light. I want to get some of the white marble rock. I believe. Are you actual rock, or are you... I don't know. I've forgotten which one is chiseled and which one is not. Let's try this. Okay, you are real rock. So something that we can do with this is, if we throw it on the ground, if we turn it into polished stone and then into a slab, we can then make a marble-topped table using a meteoric iron or steel saw. We can't use a regular iron saw. It must be meteoric iron or better. And there's only one better. But we can make these really nice tables. And I think we'll probably use some of these tables, maybe even right here, just to sort of spruce things up and finally have a use for the white marble rock. I've been struggling to fit this into a build because it's just so bright. But as a tabletop, it might actually fit pretty well. Why don't we try that now? Let's make a couple of these tables here. Make 2 of you. And we're going to need our chisel and we're going to need our hammer back. Done. And let's get this going on. There we are. Hammer is done. And then if we take these like so, we can make white marble top tables. And these are very bright, very classy. Yeah, look at that. My goodness. Let's drop our saw there. There we go. Some very bright countertops that are nice and cool stone rather than wood. It's still porous because it is marble, but hey, whatever. And yes. I think we'll find a use for the marble as tabletops and maybe some other odds and ends in the future, but I do like that as it is now. Well, everyone, as much as it pains me to say goodbye, or at least see you later, after being gone for so long already, I think that's going to be a wrap for the episode. We are definitely going to put off the resource gathering for the next episode when we go to get some limestone and some claystone and peridotite and andesite and bring all those back to put them to work in our new bedroom. And we're going to be putting our new meteoric iron pickaxes through the paces. They're going to be helping us get stone at record pace. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the episode. It is good to be back. I hope you're all excited to continue our adventures in the Vintage Story Guide. Once again, thanks to all of you for being patient with me and my tech issues while I got my old and new computer sorted out. As always, my name has been CarryOn. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Sooner than last time.